In the beautiful island of Wawanakwa, a $100,000 grand prize was set for the winner of the survival programs, which were set in the camp, where 22 teens were supposed to compete in the extreme challenges set. In this video, we are going to look at all the 22 teens cast in the show, plus all the host members responsible in arranging the survival games, and everyone behind the voices responsible for making this show come true. We begin with a man named Chris McLean, who was the primary host of the Total Drama Island and was seen as an overwhelming narcissist who never cared for the well-being of his contestants. Chris was voiced by Christian Potenza, who is a Canadian actor and comedian. Born on December 1972, Christian Potenza is 51 years old today. Gwen was a camper and one of the finalists of Total Drama Island as a member of the Screaming Gophers. She was voiced by a lady called Megan Fallenbach, who is a Canadian actress, best known for her role as Jen Masterson on 16. Megan is 53 years old today. Next, we find Heather, who was a camper and was the main antagonist of Total Drama Island as a member of the Screaming Gophers. She was voiced by the beautiful Rachel Wilson, who is a Canadian actress. Rachel was born on May 1977 and is 47 years old as of today. Duncan was a camper on Total Drama Island as a member of the Killer Base. He was voiced by the iconic Drew Nelson, who is a Canadian voice and television actor and is best known for his role as Matt Sales in The Strain. Drew Nelson is 45 years old today. Hatchet was a popular chef in Total Drama Island, who was also the best friend and sidekick to Chris McLean. He was voiced by Kiel Bennett, who is also a Canadian actor. Mr. Bennett is 43 years old as of 2024. Katie was a camper on Total Drama Island and was a member of the Screaming Gophers, who later switched to the Killer Base. Lindsay was also a camper on the island, who belonged to the Screaming Gophers. These two girls were voiced by the lady called Stephanie Ann Mills, who is a Canadian actress, known for a long life acting career since the early 2000s. This legend is 45 years old today. Courtney was a member who belonged to the Killer Base group. She was voiced by Emily Claire, who is a Canadian singer and voice actress, and is known for the albums that she has released on her own music industry label. Born in 1976, Claire is 48 years old today. Izzy was also a camper on Total Drama Island and was initially placed on the Killer Base, but decided to shift to the Screaming Gophers. Izzy was voiced by Katie Crown, who is a Canadian voice actress, popularly known for her iconic role as Mary Wendell in Clarence. Katie Crown is 38 years old. Owen was a camper and one of the finalists in Total Drama Island, who belonged to the Screaming Gophers too. Trent was a relaxed and a nice guy who got along with everyone and was the most intelligent guy on the show. These two dudes were voiced by an icon called Scott McCord, who is a Canadian actor known for his versatility in the acting arena. Scott was born on April 1971 and is currently 53 years old today. Next on our list is Bridget, who was a member of the Killer Base and was one of the contestants who qualified for Total Drama World Tour as a member of Team Victory. This successful lady was voiced by Kristen Fairley, who is a Canadian actress, best known as the winner of a Young Artist Award in 1998. She currently stands as a healthy 39-year-old woman. LaShawna was a camper on Total Drama Island, where she was a member of the Screaming Gophers. She was voiced by Novi Edwards, who is an American actress, best known for her role in The Comey Rule of 2020. Harold Norbert Cheever was a camper on Total Drama Island as a member of the Killer Base. This boy was voiced by Brian Froud, who is an English fantasy illustrator and a conceptual designer. Beth was a lady who was a member of the Screaming Gophers. She was voiced by Sarah Gadon, who is a Canadian actress who began her acting career back in the late 2000s. Sarah was born on April 4, 1987, and is currently 37 years old today. Jeffrey was a member of the Killer Base and was a co-host on the Total Drama Aftermath. He was voiced by a man named Dan Petronajevic, who is known professionally as a Canadian actor best known for his role in the American Pie franchise. Dan is 43 years old today. Noah was a member of the Screaming Gophers, who did not compete on the Total Drama action. Inui was a dark, brooding soul who never showed emotions due to his gothic lifestyle. Noah and Inui were voiced by a legend called Carter Hayden, who is a Canadian voice and television actor. He is currently 42 years old. Justin was a fun-loving member of the Screaming Gophers and was also a member of the Total Drama Action. He was voiced by Adam Reed, who is a Canadian actor, writer, and producer. Adam Reed is 51 years old. There was this boy named Cody, who was a flirtatious geek who saw himself as a ladies' man instead of a nerd. And then there is Ezekiel, who was a camper on Total Drama Island as a member of the Killer Base. These two boys were voiced by the one and only Peter Oldring, who is a Canadian actor and comedian. Born in 1971, he currently is 52 years old today. Sadie was a sensitive and a sweet-natured girl who showed herself to be emotional and vulnerable. She was voiced by the infamous Lauren Lipson, who is a Canadian voice actress. Eve was a camper on Total Drama Island as a member of the Killer Base, who did not compete on Total Drama Action. She was voiced by Julia Chantry, who is a Canadian actress, best known for her role as Amber D'Alessio in Mean Girls. Madame Chantry is 44 years old today. Mike was a nice, well-meaning teenager who suffered from multiple personality disorder. He was voiced by Corey Duran, who is a Canadian voice actor and director, and is best known for his roles as Dabio and Rex in Wild Kratts. This icon is 42 years old as of 2024. Sierra was one of the 3 newcomers who came later in the show and joined the Screaming Gophers. She was voiced by a lady named Anik Obansowan, who is an American actress and is best known for her role in the 2002 film, Cyberchase. Anik was born in 1983 and is 40 years old today. Scott was a camper and a member of the Toxic Rats, who was the main antagonist of the episode, Revenge of the Island. He was voiced by James Wallace, who is iconically known for the 2014 movie called Dead of Winter. Jose Baramorto was not a recurring character in the show, but appeared in the Total Drama All-Stars episode at the end. He was voiced by Alex House, who is an American actor best known for the film Todd in the Book of Pure Evil. Alex House is 37 years old as of 2024. Lightning was a competitive guy who valued winning more than anything else in the whole world and is known to be very egotistical. This guy was voiced by Tyrone Savage, who is the son of the popular actor Booth Savage and is known for voicing Matthias in Redwall. Tyrone is currently 39 years old today. Zoe was an optimistic and kind-hearted girl who was so easy to get along with, but did not have many friends until she joined Total Drama. This pure-hearted soul was voiced by the vocalist Barbara Mamabolo, who is a Canadian actress and singer. Barbara is still gorgeous at the age of 38. Cameron Wilkins was a camper and one of the finalists of Total Drama, who was also a member of the Mutant Maggots. He was voiced by Kevin Duhani, who is a Canadian actor and rapper, and is best known for portraying Ethan James in Power Rangers Dino Thunder. Kevin is 40 years old today. Alejandro Baramorto was the brother of Jose and was the main antagonist of the whole show. He was voiced by Marco Grazzini, who is a Canadian film and television actor. Marco is of Italian and Filipino descent and is 43 years old. Blanley's real name was Mildred Stacey Andrews, who was a television host and was also a co-host for the Total Drama World Tour Aftermath. She was voiced by Carla Collins, who is a Canadian comedian and actress. This queen is 59 years old today. Anne Maria was a tough and sassy girl who was all about the looks and was always seen with her hairspray and nail polish everywhere she went. This Kardashian was voiced by the beautiful Athena Karkanis, who is a Canadian television and voice actress. As of 2024, she is 42 years old. Joe was also a camper who originally belonged to the Mutant Maggots, but then later switched to the Toxic Rats. This lady was voiced by Laurie Elliott, who is a Canadian actress and a stand-up comedian. She is 53. Now, here are some honorable mentions. Dakota Milton was voiced by Carly Beverly. Brick was voiced by John Core. Sean was voiced by Zachary Bennett. Dave was voiced by Daniel DeSanto. All these characters were members of the Toxic Rats and Mutant Maggots. Topher was voiced by Christopher Jackett. The Beautiful Dawn was voiced by Caitlin Medrick. Max was voiced by Bruce Dow. Tyler was voiced by the all-time legend, Billy West. And Axel was voiced by Tamara Almeida. Today's episode was long, but I'm grateful for your patience, and I promise to keep the next one short. Have a wonderful day.